Does the idea of growing up excite you? Or does it fill your head with anxiety? On today's episode of Growing Pains, we spoke with Max, a student we met over a year ago on the 3 Hour Lives. We talked about the realities of growing up in Malta and the different stages of transitioning into adulthood. I really enjoyed this conversation and I think you'll definitely relate to it. Check it out.
Yahoo!
Wow,
Episode
good.
1.
How
We're
good.
off.
We're off.
We're off.
Episode 1, Growing Pains. And it's about the anxieties and fears of growing up. Wow.
Very scary.
Very scary. I'm scared. Well, personally, growing up, like the whole concept of like growing up has always been like a soft spot for me. I don't know why. Like when I was younger, I never wanted to grow up. And I feel like it's properly hit me like when my siblings moved out. Sort of, I remember, I have 2 siblings. I have 2 older siblings. And sort of the middle one, I remember him sitting me down and telling me, I'm moving out. So like, I found a place. And at first it didn't click. But then I was like, Lando, like, we're not kids anymore. Like, he's my older brother. Like, he's an adult. He has a house. Like, and then I was like, whoa, I'm next. And that's when it's properly hit. That's like, Illa. We're like,
so
properly
that was the proper moment for you. That moment of
Literally.
realization that okay, I'm an adult now, and I need to do these adult things.
And again, this was always a thought in my head growing up, because as I said, I was always a bit ick about growing up. I never wanted to grow up. But at that moment, I properly realized that, like, it's happening.
It's coming.
You know?
It's coming.
It's coming.
You know,
It's coming,
can't avoid
indeed. When did it hit you that you're growing up?
For me, I think as a 26-year-old guy, I've had my opportunities to kind of realize that, okay, I'm growing up now. I've had many opportunities to have those moments, but none of them hit as hard as the one I've had recently, where I started property hunting and I started looking for a place where, if everything goes to plan in my life, that's the place I'm going to live, raise kids, like settle down, my safe space, my home, and just the pressure of making that decision is number one what made me feel like, all right, I'm getting a little bit old now.
That's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure, and what comes with it is you need to speak to you need to take initiative. So you need to decide, you are the deciding factor. So you say, okay, this is the right place for me. You don't have like your parents or friends guiding you on, if I were you, I would do this, I would do that. Despite that, you need to make the decision yourself, and the decision you make is only going to impact you. So that was the real moment for
I'd
me.
be so indecisive.
I can't imagine.
It's part of it. It's part of the fun process. But Max, you're 17,
Yes.
so you're still
I still
essentially
feel like a kid. to be
a
honest.
young whippersnapper.
Even I still feel like a kid, and I'm 22.
I mean, I go to the beach every day,
Hella.
meet friends. I still feel like a kid, you know?
As you should.
I mean, I think a bit of realization is parents like being like, you can, like, it's sort of in being forced. It's an option. You get your own job, you can have your own money, and then you can do what you want with it, you know? You're not
Yeah,
restricted.
getting your
which,
first job is quite a
like some
big one.
responsibilities, you know? That makes you feel a bit older, but I still feel like a kid on the whole. What feels weird is I feel like I see people driving, like my dad, my mom, you know, those are grown people. And I feel like me behind the wheel next year is not good. Like I can't see myself
That's
doing something so much responsibility.
It's an underrated one. I feel like once you get your license, you proper conquer an element of freedom that you didn't have before.
Oh.
Like you get to decide what your whereabouts are, who you're hanging out with, and when. Whereas before it was always, okay, I kind of need permission to do this and that because I'm either going to get a lift or else I need to stick to a bus schedule. But when you get your car, that's like a proper step into making conscious decisions and just being that free person. Like.
Do you like the freedom? I obviously like it, but I do find it a bit scary. Like,
Of driving or of everything?
no, just like in general. No, in general, like sort of growing up. Like, I personally, I find it a bit scary.
I like it, but
When it
Pros
comes to
and cons.
when it comes to the freedom part of it, it's exciting because as long as you've got your head screwed on, you know yourself and you kind of know what experiences you want to live up to, then it's fun just having the liberty to make your decisions. Even when you start off, you get your first job at 18, 19, and you have that period where you could be a child with adult money. And that's a period that's really fun. When you start making money and you're like, okay, I just made €800 from this summer job in 1 month. I'm gonna buy a bloody PlayStation with this, you know what I mean? Whereas now, at 26 years old, like every cent I make is like, okay, this is a kitchen, this is the notary, like. So freedom is technically there for like a set period of time when you start making your money, when you have a car, and when you're still young and you afford to be a little bit reckless. But later on, you do lose that freedom when you sacrifice yourself to something like buying a home or saving up for a car. The freedom is quite limited over there.
I mean, with freedom, you can do, you know, what you want and everything. That's the whole point of it. But I feel like once you're free and everything, you still have, if you've grown up, hopefully, you have what you want and everything, but you always have a family, you know, to go back to if something goes wrong. There should be people.
It's good having that
there for
like
you, you know?
support.
So it doesn't scare me because you have the freedom, which is for you. And then if something goes bad, you should have people who are there for you and everything. So I don't think it's that scary.
There's this like question that a lot of people ask me now that I'm like 26 or like mid-20s, mid to late 20s, where it's like, Matt, do you feel your age?
I was literally about to tell you, like, do you feel 26?
Like the answer is I don't know, because I feel like the only case study I have of how I should feel at 26 is, for example, where my parents were at 26.
I'm not so different.
That's different.
My parents were fucking married at 26. My parents had their first kid at 27. I'm nowhere near that, bro. Like nowhere near that. So I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to feel a certain way, to feel the correct way, when there's no certain way anyone should technically feel. I mean, if someone asks you what does it feel like to be 26, I could only give them my experience. There's no black on white. Right? When you're 26, you need to stop having fun and you only need to work and you need to forget your friends. Like, no, we're never going to feel our age. We don't know what feeling your age is because it's our own experiences.
It's a weird concept.
There's no right answer, I'm sure.
What does it feel like being 17? I miss it so much.
It's good. There's what to look forward to. You're just coming out of, like, just went into freedom with sixth form and everything, you know, because that's one of the first things with freedom when you turn like 70 or the age for sixth form. Because
taste there.
Yeah, because you get to choose a school where you're on your own times, you know, you have free lessons, you do what you want before or after.
And like with secondary, when you have your break, sort of like the teachers would like control. But then like with sixth form, and like see a free shot on it.
That's like first taste of freedom I think I had with school and everything. And sorry if my parents are watching, but skipping lessons, you know, that's your choice now. If you did it before, you get a call straight to the house, you know? Literally. And you wouldn't do it because you get a call to the house. But
now it's just our
choice,
responsibility.
You know? And it's on you. So that's a good taste of freedom to start for sure. But 17, going to 18, which is the big, you know, 18 for a lot of people.
I still feel 18. I don't know what there is about the age 18, but I feel 18. I'm 22.
I think that's the first, well, I was going to say that's the first year where you kind of conquer some freedom because of getting your car, but then there's also sixth form, which will kind of tap into that freedom. But like Max said, you could still get a call home that you didn't do your homework or that you skipped a lesson or something like that. But to me, when someone asks me how old I am, if I didn't think about it for a second, the first thing I would think is 18. I have no idea why. Just in my mind, I'm an 18-year-old guy. I feel like all my friends are 18. I feel like my brother's 18. Just everyone's 18. Doesn't matter.
Everyone.
I think with age as well, there's like, it's like you unlock things, you know. When you're 17, you unlock drinking, you know. When you're 18, you unlock, you can drive.
True.
But it's
like
when you're
a game.
But once you're past 18, you can't unlock anything else. Like, so you can't stay at 18.
You missed the most important one. 16. Sex.
Is it? Oh, yeah, fair enough.
Kevin's voice.
Yes, I'm 16. I can have sex now.
True.
I choose who to have sex with now.
Well, after I turned 16, that wasn't the first thing that came to mind.
Naomi, we're two very different people, I think.
No, I was focused on my sweet 16.
Exactly. Max, what are you looking forward to the most? Because you said there's a lot to look forward to when you're 17 and like looking forward to the rest of your life. What are like those landmarks that you're really excited for?
I mean, like future or
whatever 17, stands
18.
out to you.
I'm excited to be able to have the freedom of a car and everything, you know.
It's a game changer.
Movement, everything. Luckily, I have very, like, forgiving parents. They let me do things on my own. Not like I've been abroad on my own a few times. Some people don't have that chance. So I don't think it's about, like, I don't know if there's an age. Is there an age to go abroad alone? Like,
I reckon it must be 18.
Probably.
I think.
No,
Don't
because
quote
I've
me.
been alone, but there's something where you have to have someone with you.
And I think there's like a certain age where you need to get like your parents' permission,
Exactly.
like signs, but I don't know exactly
Oh, yeah.
what's
That
the
type
age
of thing,
is.
but I've been able to do those things already, which are
That's
so
amazing.
fun. I want
That's
to keep
17.
doing those type of things. Future things, you have family stuff and what you're saying, buying a house and everything. I can't imagine those yet, though. Like I avoid it on purpose,
I mean, I couldn't.
to block it
I
out.
couldn't imagine it until like 2 weeks ago. But that's the beauty of it. You just start doing it, and when you start doing it, you kind of put off that fear you have of it when you're experiencing it. So I have no other choice to contact my notary about this place. I have no other choice to take an architect to go see the place. I have no choice to ask the bank for a loan. So it's like these things that typically frighten people, like all these responsibilities, all these contacts. I'm so grown up, but it's fine because you just have to do it, and like once you do it, it's over, kind of thing.
And it's cool how you mentioned like the different stages, because for example, a lot of responsibilities come with different ages. So like at your age, you're going through the stage where like your main responsibility now is like getting your house and everything. I don't have that responsibility yet, but like for me, like something that I'd be responsible for would be essentially like, it's something silly because you haven't gone to the dentist in ages, because I know like the next time I go to the dentist, I'll have to pay for it myself probably, and I feel weird about that. Like, it's fine, I know it's okay, but like it's weird, you know, going to the dentist and paying.
It's scary.
Whoa.
It's literally scary making these, like, having to do these things by yourselves. Like the fear and anxiety of growing up is legit. You're obviously gonna be scared because you're no longer sheltered by a parent, by a guardian, or anything of the sort. So the decisions you make once you're an adult, 21 years old, 22 years old, the decision you make is solely on you. If you fuck up, it's on you. They can no longer say, he's just a kid, or Pa helped me out with this, Ma helped me out. Write a note, tell them I was sick or something. You're responsible for yourself. And that to me is the main fear of it, the responsibility element.
Like, until you get there, you don't know what you're doing. Like as you go, you learn,
Exactly. Like,
and you also start thinking about like you're sort of paving the way like to the rest of your life. So you need sort of like, even though there isn't a specific age where you need to decide what you want to do, but now is when you start thinking about like, okay, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? What path should I go to? Should I continue doing this? Should I do that? Should I settle down with someone? Should I move abroad? Should I do this? And it's a lot of thoughts at once, sort of. It can be overwhelming.
That's what I think is the hardest with choosing what you want to. There's no like right answer, especially at this age, what you want to do for the rest of your life. Like, people change their careers at the age of 30 and they're still figuring it out, and even after retirement they wish they did something else, So I think that's the scariest thing for me, is like choosing what you want to do, Like,
It's a lot of pressure.
you have to choose subjects to set up your whole life from. I think Form 1, Form 2 is like 13, 14 years old.
You're so
you're
young.
choosing stuff that takes you for the rest of your life, You can change them,
But also there's, when you look at your 20s, yes, you and correctly so, you think of it as the time you need to make crucial decisions that will impact you for the rest of your life. You're absolutely right. But at 20 years old, you have the liberty still to try out different things, to make mistakes, and to really figure yourself out, because you're not going to do that between 10 and 19. Absolutely not. Those are 2 years of consciousness I had over there. I feel like I became a conscious human being at 18 years old. No disrespect to you. You seem pretty conscious.
I was quite conscious at 18.
Yeah, I was.
I think
was done.
14, I became conscious.
What?
Or,
no chance. Like,
well, yeah, 14 can't tolerate.
20s, it's there's a lot of responsibility on you, absolutely. But you can try everything in your 20s. You could say, for example, like I studied restaurant management. I'm a qualified restaurant manager, and that's what I did for the first 3 years, from when I was 20, from when I was like 19 to 22. And then I'm like, fuck it, I want to try something new. So I took up sales and I started working at 3 hour kind
That's
of.
the beauty of it. You can literally like change as you go. You can figure it out as you go.
It's the time to try things. Like, we're talking about freedom. You have the freedom to try, man. The freedom to try shit out. The freedom to fail. The freedom to succeed. that's the beauty of it, like forgetting the scary part.
Yeah, and it's the way you act once you fail, once you do that, you know.
Exactly.
What to choose next is what takes you.
Exactly. And then by the time you're 30, you would have had it figured out. We never have it figured out, but age 30, you're
Must
like,
have had,
I
that's
tried
where
this
you
isn't for
prepare.
me. I tried this, I kind of prefer this is what I see myself doing.
Life's all about experience, like, you know.
Exactly.
You add everything up, hopefully you had fun. That's the
Exactly.
And
main goal.
unfortunately, I feel like with the way our education system is and with the way, like, you know, we're raised up to be by the older generation, it's easy to fall into the trap of like, okay, I studied this, man, I have to do this. Like, I can't go back. It's so easy to fall into that trap. I feel like everyone does. I feel like that's what makes it so scary and why everyone thinks it's scary, because we grow up with that mentality, but then you need to sort of remind yourself that, like, whoa,
Yeah.
you're okay. No one has it figured out at this age, like, or rarely, like, anyone does.
Exactly. Again, it's just the time to try new things. No, 20s. And so sorry, I don't know what that was.
What?
Actually, right?
Okay.
Exactly.
Like you must have had that transition as well, because you studied psychology, no? And I think your dream as a kid was to have your own clinic, I think.
And that's, to be completely honest, that's something I'm struggling with right now, like literally at this moment. It's this whole dilemma of like, I graduated in psychology. I do have a passion for psychology, I really love it, and I do want to become a psychologist in the future. But then also, I fucking love my job there at 3 hours. Like, I don't see myself leaving anytime soon. I want to continue on social media. So my current dilemma is like, oh my God, should I get into psychology now? Like, I'm in Senagaf year after graduating. Like, is now the time? Like, should I start like settling for that? Or should I like continue doing what I'm doing because I'm enjoying it and I'm loving it? It's a whole it's
Dilemma.
and so I'm indecisive مني.
Murlam.
Like كان għalanċ minn well-bees intom nasen. So more aħseb wara a job like for a whole lifetime. I really struggle with it. And it's a whole...
To be honest, since I am the youngest one here and hearing you guys say, you know, you still don't know or you're still picking and choosing, that makes me feel better, you know, because I know that when I'm your age, I don't have to be figured out because no one is.
Not
you know?
at all, literally no one is.
And what do you do? Like I know you're a student, but what are you studying and stuff? And
I go
where?
to sixth form at Higher in Nashar, of course. I'm doing marketing A-level and English A-level.
Okay.
Got the marketing one already, so I'm just going to continue studying this year, another year at Higher. As for
When?
work, I do swim, like on the side, as in it's what I do all the time, but it's so fun, and so I don't even see it so much as work, but it's really good. It's swimming
You have
with
to
kids.
enjoy what you do.
Swimming lessons, I really do enjoy it, so I don't feel it, you know, because in summer especially, because you don't feel cold, you know.
Yeah.
Feeling hot, go in, jump in, swim with kids, find it really fun. And that's what I do. I have hobbies like music. I really love music, play guitar, stuff like that. I like going abroad a lot. Like I said, I go abroad alone, like, it's mainly
cool.
what I do. But that's why I say I feel like kid, because the job doesn't feel too stressful because I enjoy it. I have my hobbies, which I still get to do. I get to...
You have a good balance,
I know, I still get to go out with friends, everything. It doesn't feel too serious yet, you know?
It's
It
good.
doesn't feel overwhelming.
So you don't juggle anymore.
The juggling, I still can.
You still juggle?
Yes.
Hey, I juggle these cups.
Where's the cups?
McDonald's.
I'm loving it.
I'm going to change topic a bit because something that also impacted me a lot while I was growing up was also, as I mentioned earlier, like the change of family dynamic really affected me. Like my brother's moving out as MPU. That was a huge moment for me and a huge realization. And a moment that I had recently that also really hit me was recently my grandma passed away. And when she did, that really, really hit me because I felt like when my grandparents passed away, my childhood passed away in a, I know it sounds like ek, but you get what I mean. Like you're not it, it always feels like you're a child with them. Then all of a sudden I'm like, Lando. Like that ended.
I feel it in a very different way to that. Not as in because I was so close to my grandfather who I lost a day before my birthday when I was growing up. I was around 14, I think. But to me, a door that kind of shut when that happened was I always viewed my father and my parents as bigger than life, as like two clear role models. Anything I need, I can just go to them. They're my heroes. That's the perfect word to use, my heroes. And seeing my dad go through the loss of his dad,
You realize that they're people.
bro, literally, and seeing it affect him when it's fresh, and him in tears and opening up to you, and then seeing, okay, 6 months have passed and he's still kind of in the gutter from it. And that realization that your parents are humans, your parents are people who feel emotion, your parents are people who fuck up and make mistakes. Like, that to me was the
It's a
end
whole
of
new
this
side.
euphoric feeling of being a child that I had. And then I'm like, okay, my parents are humans, so suddenly now they're people I'm leveling with. They're no longer people I just go to for everything, but they're people I negotiate with. You know what I mean? Have you had any of these moments where like your childhood kind of...
Thankfully, I can't say with the passing away of anything like that, but moments to realize like that, I don't think so, to be honest. Like to
As in-
realize it's like you're growing up. I think it's just from going like to higher levels of school and just the age of it. But as for something,
As in-
I haven't had that stage where something hit me and I said, okay, now I'm...
As in, it happened to me these past 2 years, so that makes a lot of sense.
You said your brothers are moving out, or they moved out.
They moved out a while ago.
I'm dreading the day my sister moves out. You know, I can't imagine
It was weird.
How was that?
man.
Nine, I need your advice because I'm about to go through
It
it.
was weird because I remember him sitting me down and telling me like, yes, I'm moving out. And at first I was like,
And you're how old here?
I think I was 19.
Okay.
And he was telling me he's moving out, like, but obviously mux millu malada kif għadallu 6 months, tipo he had just found a place that he liked, but he still needs to like get it properly and whatever. So I was like, fadal, like, it's fine, like, meġa payna fidel. But then like 6 months passed, I was really busy, I went abroad, then then he just left, like, and he's in a weird way. I remember feeling like il-lallu telaqni, like kemmu taċċajt. You know? It was like, oh, yes, I'm home, and my brothers aren't there, like, I'm over it.
So
But-
he was the last one to move out, so now you're...
Now I'm there.
Exactly.
I
Fadal.
my brother's bedroom is currently empty and his wardrobes are empty. He's
Illallo how
in the
weird that
process,
feels.
and my brother is 2 years older than me. And we're two boys that grew up together, like we have a podcast together and stuff like that. We're super close. I've been on holiday together. We essentially have one group of friends together. And my parents moved out essentially of the house, and my brother and I have been living in our family childhood house. And they moved out, and I'm not ready for him to leave and ditch me, because that is the
It's
biggest, that'll be the biggest jump for me.
Illallo.
Like, heartbreaking. Like,
'Cause-
can you offer me some advice on how I can handle it?
You just need to go through it and experience it yourself. I don't think there's really... No, because there isn't really advice to give. It's something that's natural, it's something that happens, like, and you and your brother are close. Like, you're like this, you and your brother, so I'm sure you remain tight. It's just... Shit happens, like...
It does
It
this
does feel weird at
conversation
first.
fills me with anxiety.
You know
him
what I
moving out.
hate thinking about? Like, so my brothers moved out. Next time they want to move out and whatever, like, and my house, like, we have a relatively big house, like, and it's always busy. Dejjem xġen, dejjem jox in-neputijiet, jew għax aħna qed konna żgħar. And thinking about how one day I'll also move out, so
gonna
everyone will
say-
grow up, and it'll just be my parents and this house that's always so busy, so loud, something happening all the time. And thinking about just my parents growing old, like, alone in that house. Illallo how that makes me feel weird.
I have a tiny thing about this. I was abroad for 6 weeks living with my grandma in England, and my dad was living here alone just till I come back, but he said it doesn't feel like a home, it's just a house, because there's no one to scream at every day for doing something wrong, or, you know, no one didn't do the dishes, something like that. So
Exactly.
I can't imagine feeling that. But what about the opposite end for you? Like, what do you think about going to live alone? Do you want to live alone, or...
I've lived alone for 6 months when I was abroad, because I've lived abroad for 6 months. I liked it. To be completely honest, this is what I mean. Earlier I mentioned how when I was like 17, I was still very like dependent on my family, like dependent on my friends. I wasn't really out of my shell. I wasn't the Naomi I am now, sort of. And then when I went abroad, obviously it was scary. Like I was not sure. There was like, how am I going to live alone? Who's going to wash my clothes? Asnaf knows a washing machine. Like proper. Like I imagine I had to call my mom anytime I had to like wash my clothes. I should do my konċaf kif inħaddi ma man. But then surprisingly, I really enjoyed it. I liked the freedom of it. I liked being responsible for myself. I liked not having anyone telling me what to do. So even though I'm very much the type of person that's scared of like growing up and responsibilities, like I was surprised that I liked it so much.
You mentioned an interesting one about how you and your brothers all left, so your parents are alone now, and it kind of breaks your heart, the thought of them growing old alone in this house together. I just wanted to keep in mind one thing, is that our parents have lived with the family for the majority of their lives. So I had my mom and my dad together for so long, raising us and needing to discipline us and taking us on holiday, looking after us. It's the moment when we move out, that is the most bittersweet moment for our parents, because from one end, they're losing their heart, their soul, and their lives. But they get to enjoy themselves without that added responsibility of always looking after their children. So celebrate the fact that your parents get to enjoy together, they get to retire together, they get to go on holiday together, do date nights, order takeout or watch a movie together. It's a beautiful thing as well.
They're going to be free from you, and they're going to be much happier without you, is what he's saying. Exactly.
Like, as you said, it's bittersweet. There are the good moments, bad moments, but
you can always visit.
It's natural, like, after it leads you.
Exactly. And then it's just when you move out and you kind of need to choose the path you're going to take in life. Like we spoke about it a bit before, when we have to make these big decisions when we're younger. But I feel like once you're responsible for yourself and you have to make big life decisions, like that's the scariest part of it. Like if you're living in your own place, like, okay, I've been with my boyfriend or my girlfriend for 5 years, I'll argument, like, when's the right time to ask them to move in with me? Should I move in with them? Should we buy a property together? Should we buy one separate? Like, that's one thing I'm going through right now. Like, I've been with my girlfriend for 5 years and we're both property hunting. And we have this really big boy and big girl decision to make of, are we going to do this together and just like call it happily ever after kind of thing? Or should you buy a place, I buy a place, we take a couple more years, like whatever, maybe rent one out and live together. And you need to make like these very conscious, smart decisions. You need to listen to your heart, your mind, and not having someone to tell you what to do over there really sucks. Man.
Yeah,
really
and
sucks.
recently something sort of similar happened to me, because my boyfriend was looking for a place. He's property hunting, but not as seriously as you are, sort of. He knows that he still feels a bit young, but he's just looking for it for his own reasons in summer. And anytime he tells people that he's property hunting and I'm there, they're like, you're getting a place together? And we're like, no, like I love him, but we're not ready to move in together.
You're gonna get married, have kids, and like move in together.
Not yet, not anytime soon. In the future, hopefully, but not anytime soon. No. And it's such an awkward question, because he's so, they're not just asking it; some people are expecting it.
And
that's
judging
why it gets
as well. I feel like a really big part of it is you cannot fall into the trap of making these big life decisions. Like nowadays there's Instagram, for example, and you look at Instagram and you see this person who's living a certain life. He's doing what he loves. He looks great, and like his whole life is perfect. And you could really fall into the trap of basing your decisions out of being jealous or being envious of these people on social media and saying, if this person, for example, started his own company, then I'm going to put pressure on myself to start my own company, when in reality, what I want to do is have a very simple job, you know what I mean, or work for another person. So really getting stuck into the trap of comparing yourself to other people, particularly online, and making those massive life decisions
difficult
based on envy. Like, you have to kick that shit out of your brain.
Social media actually changes from little things. You see some celebrity you like who has a new haircut and you like it, and you go do it just because you saw that, and then it could be...
No, but literally, like, it sounds stupid, but that's literally how it is.
It's true.
Like. And I struggle with it a bit, in the sense that I spend a lot of time on my phone and I try to control it, but usually when I realize that I need to control it, it's a bit too late. So like, and obviously I see people on Instagram, like some people my age are getting married, some people my age already have a child, some people are doing their own thing abroad, just traveling gap year as they should. Like some people are just here, like full-time job, they're settled with the job that they want for the rest of their life. Some people are still studying, like chill, relax, hassa. So I'm like, okay, which one of these am
Which
I?
is
Like,
the right one? Yeah.
which category do I fall into?
That's it. Figuring out who you are
I'm like,
is the main.
Literally, and you also need to realize that like you can make your own category. Just because you see other people doing these like things doesn't mean you have to do one of them. You can make your own thing. You can do your own thing. Memx għalfej bil-fors tagħmel kif qed jagħmlu l-oħrajn, and it's difficult to actually like get used to that though.
To know yourself, to listen to yourself, to know what your interests are, to do things that interest you. Like I read this thing recently, I mentioned it in the office today and everyone laughed at me. So I don't know if I'm going to hit everyone with some wisdom now or make myself a laughing stock. But I read that before you figure out who you are, figure out who you're not, because it's a way easier process. If you're simply going to dig deep and look for who you are, you'll spend decades. But if you say like, all right, I tried this, not for me, boom. So, cross it off the list. You're not that like.
Fully agree. You find what you are, what, like you're saying, like you finally find it once you've gone through all the wrong ones.
Exactly.
It's from the wrong ones that you learn. So.
Obviously, even though we're talking about how many struggles there are, like with growing up and everything, I think that it's beautiful that these are the years where like, you know, we're finding our path, we're like going through it, and it's also beautiful realizing how like. How you said, like, you're 17, I'm 22, you're 26, but we're all agreeing that, like, no one has their shit figured out.
Exactly.
Like, we're all figuring it out as we go. There's, like, as cliche and cringe as it sounds, there's beauty in the struggle.
No,
it's true, though.
Absolutely.
It's true.
If you live your entire life saying, okay, when I'm married and have kids, then I'm going to be happy, I'm going to reach my goal. Like, no, fuck it. Live, bro. Live. Be in the moment. If you go on holiday, be on the holiday. If you're at the beach, be at the beach. Relax. Don't have your mind on, I have the struggle because I'm never going to find someone and I don't know, should I take this job or that job? Just be in the moment and enjoy the process of life, man. These big decisions, this big decision that I'm making that is making me lose hair by the minute, like of finding a property. It's beautiful, man. It's a great step when you're choosing your first car. Illallu, what a problem I have. I need to choose between a Kia and a Hyundai. Like, it's luxury. You know what I mean? It's the experience of life. What a beautiful problem to have. That's your problem. Enjoy it, man.
One day we'll look back and be like, "Illallu, tiftakar when you were speaking about how you're going to start driving in a year."
Then I'll be picking you up to go for the next podcast.
Imagine.
As that. Well, and keep these things in mind, how much there is to look forward in life, man. Keep these things in mind when you're going through a hard time. Know that within a year's time, you're going to have a milestone in your life. Know that if you're going through a hard time, all you need to do is focus on yourself, focus on your growth, and focus on your future. So it's not that complicated. Just make yourself happy. We're not going to starve to death on the streets if we make a few wrong decisions. So go easy on yourself, man.
I think the main takeaway is literally go easy on yourself, prioritize yourself, and no one has their shit figured out, and that's okay.
Never.
Like, that's literally okay.
Never. You should take this as serious wisdom, bro.
To be honest, I'm just taking the advice.
Well, there's 9 years between you.
There's 9 years. I straight up don't feel weird with you, my bro. It's like I'm speaking to a 20-something.
I feel a bit weird.
No issue with it. Yeah.
Well, like I said, you have more. You have done everything I've done. You have my experience, but I don't have yours yet.
Exactly. So I'm like the oracle that you should be speaking to.
You've been through what I've been through, but I haven't been what you've been through yet.
That's a really good point. Always speak to people that are older than you and get advice from people, man.
But also don't take it too seriously.
No.
If you want to do anything different, that's fine.
Trust your intuition.